Hi, Uncle. Good evening.
Subham, you may start.
Okay, Uncle. Hello everyone. I am Suryakiran Sahu. Today I am going to narrate a story. The title of my story is Good Out of Evil. Once a merchant went to a fair. He sold his wares and earned a lot of money. In the evening, he rode back home. The sky was overcast with clouds. Night was falling and his village was far away. Uh, on the way, there was a forest. He had not gone far when it began to rain heavily. He began to curse God for sending rain. In the meantime, a robber rushed out of the bushes. He had a gun in his hands. He said, "Your life or your money." The merchant took courage and spurred his horse. The robber tried to fire at him, but the gun did not go off because the gunpowder had gone wet due to rain. The rain proved a blessing for him. He thanked God for saving his life. The moral of the story is never question the way of God. Thank you.
Good, Shubham. Nice story. Harshit, ready?
Yes.
Yes, tell. Start.
One day. Good evening, everyone. My name is Harshit. I am narrating a story. The title of the story is The Farmer and the Well. One day, a farmer was looking for a water source for his farm. He bought a well from his neighbors. The neighbor was cunning. One day he went to draw water from his well. The neighbor came and said, "Don't take the water from the well." The farmer said, "Why I don't take the water from the well?" The neighbor replied, "I sold only well, not the water within it." And went. The farmer was upset and went to the emperor to ask justice. The farmer asked, the farmer explained what had happened. The emperor called Birbal. He is the wisest minister in the kingdom. He questioned the neighbor. "Why don't the farmer take water from the well?" "You sold the well." The neighbor replied, "I sold only well, not the water within it." "He don't have right to draw water from his well." The Birbal said, "Look, since you sold the well, don't keep the water in farmer's well." The the neigh- the neighbor the neighbor wa- the neighbor thought his plan was failed and apologized to the farmer and went. The, the moral of the story is cheating will not get anything. If you cheat, you pay soon. And
చాలా బాగా చెప్పావు హర్షిత్. లాస్ట్ వీక్ కంటే మా ముందు వీక్ కంటే ఈ వీక్ చాలా బాగా చెప్పావు. ప్రాక్టీస్ చేస్తున్నావు ఇంటి దగ్గర. వెరీ గుడ్, వెరీ గుడ్. నెక్స్ట్ వీక్ ఇంకో స్టోరీ చెప్పు, ఇంకా బాగా చెప్పాలి. ఓకే, ఈసారి నెక్స్ట్ చెప్పు, చేతులు కూడా వాడు. డోంట్ డూ ద యాక్షన్ కూడా చేయ. ఓకేనా? డన్? రైట్, వెరీ గుడ్, వెరీ గుడ్. నౌ వి మూవ్ టు అవర్ నెక్స్ట్ నరేటర్ ఆఫ్ ద డే, రిషితా శ్రీయా.
Just a moment.
Always just a moment. Start, Rishi. Hi, Aaron.
Hi.
Rishitha, all of us are waiting for you. I think that is Ayan. Hi, Ayan.
Yeah.
Okay, Rishi, start.
Good evening. The title of my story is The Ghost on the Tree. Once there lived a couple in the countryside. The man was a farmer and his wife was a housewife. The fields were far away from their house. So the farmer used to go far from his house to do the field work. And they had a large garden. There are so many trees and everything. And then one day, they had a daughter. And one day, the wife was getting the cows to graze. And then suddenly, strange sounds started from on a tree. And she got so scared. All her cows too ran away to their shed. She got so scared and she went to her house. And there she found her daughter also crying because she was scared of those sounds. And when the farmer returned, she told him there are some spooky sounds coming from that tree. Even our daughter can hear it. I'm sure I'm not imagining it. And then he's like, okay, I'll see if the sound comes again, and then we'll see. He was sure that it was only his wife's imagination. But then that night, they heard that sound again. And then it stopped. They got scared. And the next day, they called some sacred holy sages. And the sages did some rituals and said there that should take away any ghost from the tree. So the couple were happy. But then that evening, they heard the sound again. And it suddenly stopped again. So they called more and more sages and had more and more rituals performed. But still, whatever ritual it was, the sounds were still heard. One night, all the cows started mooing. So the wife got up to give them hay. She was feeding them with hay, and then she felt somebody walking behind her. She turns back and she sees the boy who helps the farmer in his fields. He's running towards the tree on which the from which the ghost sounds were coming. And then she calls her husband quickly. Hey, looks like the boy who helps you in the farm is a thief. And the couple go out and see him climbing the tree from which the ghost sounds were coming. The couple started shouting, no, that there is a ghost on that tree, don't climb that tree. But that boy climbs that tree and he gets a phone from above the tree. And suddenly those sounds start. And then he clicks on a button and he's like, hello? Okay, it's already night. I'll call you later. I'll call you later. And then he stops the phone. And then the couple is
Husband
like,
and wives looks at each other.
and then they're like, why did you put that phone onto that tree? And he's like, I had to download some things. There is a better signal on that tree, so I kept it on that tree. The couple was like, okay, so you wanted that signal and you scared us out of our lives for this week. Thank you.
Nice, Rishitha. Very beautifully narrated. Thank you so much. Do we have Anisha now for the next story? Anisha, Riddhi. Yes, Anisha. Start.
My name is Anisha. I am in class 4. Today, the title of my story is The Purple Jar. Once upon a time, there was a girl. Her name was Maya. She was she always wanted things which were pretty, but in no use. So one day, while she was out with her mother, bringing some grocery from the grocery shop, she found a magnificent purple jar. She told her mother, Mother, I want that beautiful jar. It's so lovely. Her mother said, Now, let us buy the grocery. Then, if any money will be left, we will buy the jar too. We are very happy. So, when they bought the grocery and were in the way to buy the purple jar. Suddenly something pricked her feet. Mama said to her mother, something pricked my feet. It's too much. The mother said, but it can, your shoes are itchy. I think you must go to the shoe shop to buy the shoes. When she went to the shoe shop, she saw a lovely beautiful dress. Too. She asked her mother to buy both the pink shoe and the purple jar. Her mother said, I'm sorry, dear, but I don't have enough money to buy. But if you buy the purple jar for a week, and if you buy the purple jar, you won't get the shoe for a week. You must decide. She went and decided for a while. Then she told her mother, Mother, I want the purple jar. Her mother said, Okay, dear, come. Let's go and let me buy it for you, and we will go home. She was very happy that she got the purple jar. So when she reached home, a and opened the lid, a bad smell came. She told her mother, what a bad smell. Her mother said, I think you must rotate it. So whatever inside which is giving the bad smell, it may get out of there. So she went and poured some water from the jar. And to her amazement, the jar was a white one. The water in it was purple. She was very upset. The next day there was a party. She was also invited in it.
But she couldn't go there because her shoes were torn. She was very upset. Seeing her daughter upset, the mother decided to tell her once. She went to her daughter and said, "Oh dear, what a big mistake you have done. I think you must have known that all the glitters are not gold. It means that whatever you see, it is no profit because if it is profit, then it is no use." She was very sad and said, "Oh mother, what a fool I was. If I wouldn't have thought that the shoe were important, I could have not missed the party." My mother said, "That's all right. I think you understood the importance of things which are useful." She said, "Yes, mother, I have already understood. I'm so sorry." The mother then went and opened a, a paper, and the pink shoes was in it. She was very happy and said, "Mother, you have already bought the pink shoes, but you say that you don't have enough money." Then her mother said, "I knew that, and I also knew you will choose the purple jar, but you needed the shoes too. So I quietly bought the shoes while you were thinking what you needed." She thanked her mother and went to the party. Thank you.
Riddhi, is this a true story?
I don't know.
With you and your mother?
Fairy tales.
I'm just kidding, Riddhi. So Aditi is there?
Yes.
Yeah, she can narrate the story. Her story. Next is. Aditi, you also need a moment. Aditi, next in line is you. You can narrate your story. The poor man.
Yeah. Okay. So, good morning. My name is Aditi, and I'm studying in class 7. And today I'm going to tell a story. The title of my story is The Cock and the Anthem. The Poor Man. So once there lived a the title of the story is The Poor Man. Once there lived a good man. His name was Sophie. His parents were very rich, and but they had died in a car accident, and from then on he used to live in a park. It was going to be winter in a few weeks, and the only place Sophie had to live was a park. So they and then he thought that he would commit a small crime and stay in a jail. And then he remembered once when he was small, he went to an island. He loved that island, and there was also a jail in that island. So he tried to go to a go to a jail in that island. So for the first so for the first time for this first attempt, Sophie went to the most expensive hotel in the city. He went into the hotel. He thought that he would eat the food there, and then he would not pay the bill, so that the waiters would call the cop, and then he would go to the jail. But when he went there, as his shoes and clothes were torn, they did not allow him inside. So Sophie's first attempt had failed. So after that he went to another restaurant. It was not as big as that, but it was enough to have a good meal and to have an expensive meal. So Sophie went there, ate the food, and when he said he said he would not pay the bill. Then the waiters were angry and started scolding him. Then he said, "Oh, ate your food, but I did not pay you money. Wouldn't you call the cop?" Then the waiters understood what he was up to, and then they said, "No, there is no need for a cop for you. There, there is no need for a cop for you." And then they took him and threw it out of the door. And then his second attempt had failed too. For his third attempt, he thought that break, he would destroy some shop, and then the cop would come after him. So as he was walking at the corner of the road, there was a shop with a wide glass window. Soapy picked up a big stone and threw it through the glass. Some people came running around the corner. A cop was first among them. Soapy stood still and then he smiled when he saw the cop. "Where is the man that did this?" asked the man. Then Soapy smiled at the front of the cop and said, his smile was friendly and happy. And then the cop asked him, "Do you know who broke this?" Then Soapy said, "Yes, of course. I broke this window. Wouldn't you arrest me?" Then the cop had never seen anyone who committed a crime stand in front of the cops and smiling and saying, "Wouldn't you arrest me?" So the cop thought that Soapy was just kidding, and then he moved on. He saw a man running away and then he chased him. So Soapy's third attempt had failed too. So again Soapy thought of another plan. He was going to the road. When he was going, he saw a big bar. He thought that he would act like he had drinking a lot, and the cops would arrest him. He began to shout as he had drank too much. His voice was loud as much as he could make it. He danced and he cried out. The cop turned his back to Soapy and said it to a man standing near to him. "It's one of those college boys. He wouldn't hurt anything. We have orders to let him shout." Soapy was quiet. Was no cop going to touch him? He began to think of the island, but were as far away as a star. His goal was only to the jail. Then his fourth attempt had failed too. For his fifth attempt, he saw a man standing in a shop and reading newspaper. Then Soapy went there and stole something from stole an umbrella from next to him. Then the man saw Soapy and said, "Hey, give back my umbrella." Soapy said, "Oh, is it? Why don't you call a cop? I took it. I took your umbrella. Call a cop to arrest me." Then the man walked more slowly and Soapy did the same. But he had a feeling that he was going to fail again. The cop looked at the two men. Then the umbrella man replied, "You know how these things happen. If that's your umbrella, I'm very sorry. Today morning I found some umbrella in the hotel. It might be your umbrella and you must have left it." Soapy cried, "It's mine." And then he ran away. The umbrella man hurried away too, and the cop went away. Soapy started going to his home, which was only a park. He threw the umbrella as far as he could throw it. He talked to himself about the cops and as he thought of them. Was a cop not going to even touch him? He thought. Was he a king who would never do anything wrong? At last, Soapy came one of the quiet streets on the side of the city. He turned again and started walking towards the park. He was going home. He was going to a park. And at the very corner, Soapy stood and saw a house. It was his childhood home. Through one window, he could see a soft light shining. There had been his living room, where he had spent many happy, peaceful moments. Sweet music came to Soapy's ears and seemed to hold him there. The moon was above, peaceful and bright. There were many people passing. Many people passing, which just ignored him and went. And then he thought, I am still a young man. Tomorrow I will go and find a job, and I will begin my new life. And then he, with a completely new spirit, he thought to earn money and spend his winters with his own money. And then he felt a hand on his shoulder. Then he looked back and saw a cop. Then the cop asked, "What are you doing hanging around here and looking at the house?" "Nothing," said Soapy. Full of his new, the cop said, "Do you think I will believe that?" Full of his new strength, Soapy began to argue, and it is not wise to argue with a cop. So the next morning, the judge said to Soapy, 3 months prison on Blackwell's Island. Thank you.
Thank you, Aditi. Nice. And then we have Ayan. Ayan? Yes, Ayan. Start, please.
Just a second.
Another moment here. Rishitha, start. Yes, Ayan, start.
Good evening, everybody. It's Ayan. I am going to narrate a Chinese folk tale. The title of my story is The Magical Paintbrush. Once upon a time, in China, there lived a poor boy called Malya. He had to work hard every day, gathering firewood, washing pots, scrubbing floors, etc. He loves to draw, but he was too poor to buy a paintbrush. "I can draw on ground with a stick," said to himself, "but I could paint pictures for poor people if I had a paintbrush." Suddenly, an old man appeared. He held out a paintbrush and gave it to Malayang. "Now you can paint pictures for the poor," he said. The old man gave the paintbrush to Malayang and disappeared. Malayang started painting immediately. He painted a butterfly, and the butterfly came into life and flew away. Malayang knew at once that this was a magic paintbrush. Soon, all the villagers heard about Malayang and his paintbrush. Poor people began to ask him to draw what they needed. One poor man came and said, "Please draw me some rice. I'm so hungry." Malayang brought rice in a bowl for him. The man ate. The man had his fill. Another came and said, "Draw me some fish. I am hungry too." Malayang said, "Here you go." And a bucket full of fish came into life. Another came and said, "I am freezing in the winter. Please draw me a coat." Malayang drawed a coat for him and said, Take this. It will keep you warm. It is the warmest coat. Soon the story of boy with the magical paintbrush spread across China. All the people in the royal palaces were also talking about it. The wicked emperor was a very greedy man. He called Malayang and said, "Draw me a tree covered with gold coins." Malayang said, "No, I draw only for poor people." The emperor was furious. He ordered his soldiers, told his soldiers, "Lock him up." The guards threw Malayang into prison. Malayang was hungry, cold, and lonely in the prison. Suddenly, the old man who gave Malayang magical paintbrush appeared and said, "Malayang, did you forget your paintbrush? It can save your life too." Malayang was very happy. At once he started painting. He painted an island. On the island, he painted a lot of trees, and the trees were covered with gold coins. The next morning, Emperor came to the prison and saw the island. He ordered his guards to sail the ship to the island. With all his ministers, the emperor too went along. When the emperor was on board, he ordered Malayang, "Paint wind so that we can sail." But Malayang has another idea. He wrote a hurricane instead the wind. They were thick black clouds and heavy rain too. The storm blew the ship into the sea. Emperor's ship was wrecked in the thunderstorm. Malayang was happy because he was free now. He walked back to his people and said what had happened. Malayang painted things for poor people. Malayang always painted things for poor people. All the villagers lived happy ever after. Today, it's a twist. I will not tell them. You should tell them. To me. If anyone knows the moral.
Anyone would like to tell the moral? No, Ayan. I have a question for you. Ayan, do we need a moral for every story?
We should not be curious, uncle.
Oh, moral. There, Aaron told a moral. We should not be curious.
And we should not think everything should get.
There are two models of it.
Mm-hmm.
Avarice is the root of
all the evils. And the second moral is greed is bad. Thank you.
Mhm. Good. But moral, you didn't, Ayan, you didn't answer my question. Every story have moral.
Very good.
Ayan, you understood my question?
No, it's not hearable properly.
Okay.
It's
I'm.
not.
Can you hear me properly now?
Yeah.
Does every story have a moral or should have a moral?
I think yes.
Good. Fine. I respect your answer. Fine. Okay. Nice story. Well narrated. Okay, we'll move to the next participant. Saravan, please unmute and narrate your story.
Sure, uncle. Just a second. Good evening, everyone. I am Sharvan. Today I am going to narrate a story. The title of my story is The Foolish Donkey. Once, a washerman built his was living near a forest. He used to go to the town daily for his work. He had two animals, a donkey and a rooster. The rooster was very intelligent, while the donkey was very foolish. One day, the washerman went to the town for his work, like every day. The animals were roaming. The rooster was roaming here and there, and the donkey was resting. Just then, a lion appeared, a hungry lion appeared before them. The forest were near, no? That's why lions used to come frequently. A lion came and saw the donkey and wanted to eat it. The rooster saw it and alerted the donkey and the lion like this. Uncle, are you able to hear the sound?
Yes, Saravan.
Like this. But the donkey didn't understand it and was grazing. The lion slowly walked back, and as its plan was failed. Then, while the lion was walking back, the donkey turned back and saw the lion. He was thinking, the lion was scared of me and was walking back. He wanted to play a prank on the lion. He slowly started walking behind the lion. The lion knew this and was acting like it doesn't knew it. After some time, the donkey reached the forest following the lion. Just then, the lion got a chance and pounced upon him and killed him. Killed the donkey. That's the story, uncle.
Nice, Saravan. Thank you so much. Uh, I think our next narrator, Rohini, hasn't come yet.
So you shouldn't fool around with the strong ones. What do you say, Saravan? Somebody is strong, don't fool around with them.
Yes.
Good, nice.
Thank you, uncle.
Okay, anyone would like to tell us any story or anything? Kids? There I see one hand. Okay, Aaron, tell me.
Once upon a time, there was.
Aaron, first introduce yourself. Nobody knows your name, right? And then tell the title. And
My
then
name is Aaron Roche. I'm gonna say my story. My story name is Papam Papaya. Once upon a time, there was a shopman who sells rice and he was keeping in the rice like some stones, white stones, and he used to he, pour used oil in an fresh oil. So, and one day for a marriage, they all were taking at his shop every like rice and like everybody took the rice, and who ate the rice, they were having serious stomach pain. So the courtiers judge called the man, and they said, you need to have three punishments. He said, drink and kalti oil and 100 beatings, paying 5,000 rupees. So he thinked, and he drank little part of the oil, and he got stomach pain. And so he said to the judge, I'll get beatings his head. So he got 25 beatings, and he said to stop. At last, he paid 5,000 rupees, and he went to the hospital and paid money to get the operation.
to get treated.
Thank you.
Nice, Aaron. When you said think, I got a joke. I recollected a joke in an English exam.
Good. Sorry, please go ahead.
And a boy gives an English exam and he comes home. His mother asks, how was the exam? And the student says, everything was fine, but they asked the past tense of think. So I thought, wrote thinked.
Good one.
Thinked ka thought. Okay, Aaron? Joke, okay? Aaron is a great skater. He does all kinds of skating, leaving ice skating.
Good.
Rakar skating. I mean, he does all kinds of skatings. Right, Aaron?
Yes.
Oh, one day you should teach all of us. Okay?
Okay.
Gatiga navra. Smile. Big.
Okay.
Yeah, nice. Okay, next. Anyone would like to narrate anything else? Anyone? If not, we shall stop here for the day. Okay? Bye. Yes, no games. Saravan. We can play offline. Okay, kids? Bye. Hi, Ashok. Bye bye. And now we have the I forgot the Socrates. We have Socrates show. I don't remember.
Socrates chat room.
Socrates chat room. Yes, we elders. But if you would like to stay, stick around. But you would not understand most of it. So, okay. Bye bye, kids. Good night.
Bye, kids.
Bye, Uncle.